Maybe that, yeah.
Yeah. All right, we're going into it.
Game & Watch, Samus.
Yeah, so
With a
Schlimm is
consistent
playing.
team. These two know how to play together.
Yeah, Schlimm is indeed playing Falcon.
Yes.
So as you said, it's stuck around.
It has.
Now this I'm curious about, because what's Green Team going to do to approach? What's your approach game on these characters?
I mean, to be fair, I think this is kind of true for singles, but in doubles especially, approaching isn't all it's cracked up to be. Like, having two of you being defensive, hopefully being like one, like of different heights, so someone being on a platform waiting for something to happen, the other person being grounded. You can play around each other's movements, you can throw out moves without getting each other's way. If you've got that set up, that works really nicely. I don't know if that's what we're going to see, a very hyper-defensive style here.
Yeah, or maybe they're going to use a lot of Game & Watch's disjoints, for instance.
Yeah.
Short up fair, it goes really far, and it's also deceptively fast. Game & Watch, of course, has a great down tail. You can use Nair too.
No.
Oh no, that's very unfortunate for Nago.
Getting poked by your own teammate.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's really crucial in teams like... I mean, this is obvious. I feel like I shouldn't need to say don't hate your teammate. But you'd be surprised how so few players actually play by those rules.
I feel like the big thing, at least, you know, maybe it's because I tend to hit my opponent, or my teammates as well as my opponents. It's make sure if you hit them, that it's not some critical hit, you know? If it's just, you know, one aerial, one whatever.
If it's just one hit, that's all I need.
That's all I need.
I am of the opinion that you shouldn't be hitting your teammate almost ever, unless the only time you should be hitting your teammate is when they should be shielding. If you hit your teammate and they got hit, but like in that position, it would have made a lot more sense for them to be shielding and you to be attacking than.
Or when you have a miscommunication about who grabs ledge. That's also a big one.
Sure.
When you try to hit your opponent, but your teammate doesn't hold ledge and also tries to hit your opponent, for instance.
But like, you know, that's still in the category of there has been an error.
Shielding.
Yeah.
I guess shielding and holding the ledge is kind of the same, right?
Yeah. But like, you'll see it a lot. I'm sure you'll see it loads of times as we watch these sets. There'll be moments where you have opponents off stage, and you've got two people on a team like edge guarding or pushing into the center, and the person behind runs in and attacks. Even though it's not their place to be attacking. It's the person in front's job to be attacking, person behind's job to catch any opponents that go higher or go behind, maybe they roll behind, something like that. Also,
well, actually, Green Team, even though
probably
Nago
the team seeded
really
lower, I would have thought.
I think they were. I think it was second against fourth seed in the pool around that seeding. Yeah, and even though Nago died twice, they're like 50% from like a stomp or a Falco down air. It's, yeah.
I mean, we don't want to count our chickens. Like, this is Samus and Game & Watch versus Falcon. Falcon is pretty good against both those characters.
Yeah, but it's an offstage Falcon now.
But that's...
Can't even reach it. Dang.
Oh, I like that. Like a little early pop-off. They gave each other, Falcon Nago, a little fist bump. Motivating each other. Love to see it. I think that's kind of an example of like, maybe on the other side, like I would have thought that SchlimmShady was, like, there was definitely a time where he would have been he is a high-seeded player. So I presume he'd still be the highest seeded player here. It's nice to see that the team that actually is teaming a lot and they're working on their strategies, doing better in doubles than just, oh, that team has the higher seeded players, therefore they will win.
Of course, yeah. And I feel like that's tough actually for TOs. Like, what do you do when you have two good players or another mid-level and they're teaming, but they don't usually team against two players who are strictly worse, but they team and they've teamed for a year or longer. Right?
And there's like a bias comes in of like characters. Like if there's a very high seed, if two equal seeded players, one's a Fox and one's a Dr. Mario, and they both join teams, do you naturally seed the Fox higher because he's a better character in teams, or do you just go like it's still just trust the singles seed, you know?
Yeah.
Oh, they're getting really pushed into the corner here. I feel like they're trying to make a statement when you said, what do they have to approach with? And they're just like, all of these moves. We're coming in.
We got all of this.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wonder if they can, because in the first game they killed Tysk really early a few times.
Oh, that was a really good forward air save by vlerk. Nago got hit with Falcon's knee at like 100%, definitely dead, but then flew into Samus's side forward
air, yeah.
saving.
I mean, multi-hit moves, fantastic as a save. Because you don't have to time it that precisely.
Yeah. This is where like it's gonna be harder for them when they're split up and they're having to deal with, especially like sandwiched in between.
You can't cross such a large horizontal space as quickly, right, on these characters.
Yeah. Yeah, they need to be like a wall. And I'm scared already for them. Like they're on the wrong side of the stage.
Yeah, that's bad. Though it's funny actually, because at the same time, you also don't really want to be in the middle in doubles, I feel like.
No, you don't want to be sandwiched.
You don't want to be sandwiched, but you also don't want to be pushed to the edges both. there's a very fine line to walk.
Yeah, and a lot of it depends on like, you don't want to be sandwiched if you're, depending on how close they are. If the team is like, you know, they're both on the sides and you and your teammate are in the middle, then like you can still play your defensive game. You're not that pressured, so it's not, it's okay. You can, you know, bring the space further apart. But as you're saying, like if you and your teammate are kind of bunched together and you're afraid to throw out any moves because you might hit your teammate, but also either side you've got the opponents, that's like a horrible position.
That's terrible, yeah.
Yeah.
And it's, it all comes down to this space between you. So if you have this space, then it's fine. But if you're close together, and it's a very small margin.
Yes, yeah. And that will depend on the characters you're playing as well. That's kind of like one of the great things about Fox is that Shine is almost always good in those situations.
So if I compare this to, so last set we also had a Falcon and a Fox, Falcon and Falco against Samus on this stage. I feel like Rabbit Alex didn't get as many missiles in as vlerk is. I feel like vlerk is really getting his missiles to work, and he's already gotten a few kills of them.
Granted, really hard to make work in doubles because it's kind of just a massive read if you think about it. Like
you really
you're
got to take the
sending
risk,
this slow projectile that could easily hit your own teammate.
Yeah, well, I mean, maybe a team that's played to their strengths knows, you know.
Yeah.
Maybe I assume Nago will expect vlerk to miss. So it's more what I'm so fascinated by is how does he find the space against these characters? Like especially Falcon is so fast.
Yeah.
Right? Where do you
This
get
is a good stage for it as well. To be fair.
Oh, that was cool. That B into Game Watch in there.
Oh.
No.
That movement by vlerk was actually incredible. He just like jabbed. He jabbed like Falcon or Falco, and then moved back. And then Falco was kind of all turned around by like, wait, I thought you were gonna approach me.
It's classic. I think that's classic Samus shield pressure as well, right?
Yeah.
Do a little jab, F tilt jab, and then once you go in, bam, F smash.
Yeah. But in that case, it was like vlerk's priority was I need to make sure that I have my teammate with me because there's no point in me trying to win like a 1v1 when I could be waiting around till my teammate's back and then it's 2v1. That's just better. So they played that really well.
So this can still swing again.
This is
SchlimmShady's
this is not over
against these two floaty characters. But vlerk has charge shot. Does he have a charge shot?
There's no charge shot.
No, there
should be it though.
But that's it. Okay.
Wow.
I hear the crowd cheering from behind the screen.
Well played.